Hello, my name is Nick Jordan, and I'm here today to talk to you about having a miracle finish to your SC2 push. So, I worked for Cutco for 7 summers. Over those 7 summers, I had 15 10K pushes. That includes a 10K fast start. And this is going to go over some of the tips and some of the things that I did to make sure that I had a big day every single time to finish. One quote that I have is miracles sometimes occur, but one has to work terribly hard for them. So these things are not going to be easy. I know you've been working hard the entire push, and these are just going to be the last few tips to kind of push you over that end. One of the things you have to do is you have to expect that the last day, the last 48 hours of the push is going to be huge. Your expectations control everything. Expecting that and understanding that these next few days are going to be big is going to be very important for your mindset. Miracles do happen, but you have to make them happen. For me, I had a pretty typical last day of the push. Every year, SC2, my very first appointment of the day, 8:30 in the morning, would be with Miss Fox, a lady who I sold Cutco to probably 5 or 6 summers in a row. One of my friends from A&M, it was her mom. She would buy anywhere between 200 to 1,000 CPO. After that, I would go on to one of my parents' friends. I always had one of them lined up for the last day of the push. It would end up usually being a package deal where they would buy some knives, some gifts, some gadgets, or whatever on top of that. Usually would follow that up with back to back to back homemakers and signatures, just because I was creating that urgency and really getting people tied into my goals. Now, there's three kind of tips that I want to go over. The first one is kind of includes a few different things, but that's going to be to master your skills. There's a few different areas that I want to touch on going into the last day to make sure that you're up to par with. The second is prospecting, which is very important. You want to make sure that you're seeing your best possible people in the last few days. And the third tip is just going to be to go all in. Once you have these tips and once you have kind of a plan of what you're going to do, are you actually going to go out there and execute it? But as far as mastering your skills, you're at the very end of your push. You should have done 20, 30, 40, even 50 appointments by this point. Your presentation should be very good. If you haven't, the first thing I would do is memorize your close. I would spend the next 10 or 15 minutes today. If you don't have that done, if you don't know how to close on a Cutco kitchen, how to close on an ultimate set, if all you're doing is closing on the homemaker, try to memorize some of those bigger closes today before you go on those appointments, so that way you're able to feel more comfortable presenting those bigger projects, packages. The second thing is share your goals. I mean, you're going to be, by the end of this, asking people to buy thousands and thousands of dollars. Who are you? What are you? What are you excited about? Is it getting that first comma paycheck? You're already working harder than most of the like their kids and their friends' kids. You're the one who's been waking up at 7 in the morning every single day for the last couple of weeks. You want to share your goals and get them tied into the push. The last day of the push, they cannot buy later. That is not an option. They can only buy today. And by tying them into your goals, you're going to do that. For me, everybody knows I use my thermometers. Those are very, very strong things to be able to tie people into your goals. Now, if you take anything else out of this talk going into the last few days, you need to learn the cookware. The cookware is thousands of CPOs that a lot of reps are missing out on for one reason or the other, and this stuff is amazing. You need to show the James Rushing condensed cookware video on every single appointment. Every time you talk about cookware, that is something that I show. Ask your manager about this video. Ask your manager about the cookware. Get very, very good at it. And you will be able to turn a $1,000 CPO homemaker set into a 2,000, 3,000 CPO once you add the cookware set. A few lines that I like to add in. And since I'm in the last day of my push, my manager is letting me do some insane deals on the cookware. Just throw that in and then catch their interest with something like that. The complete set is only $4,171. That's only $905 per month over the next 5 months. You just add that onto your homemaker, you're only going to pay $1,200 today. Putting those cookwares into the package deals, getting excited about the cookware, is going to get you some bigger orders, and you're also going to get some customers that you may not necessarily have gotten because they didn't necessarily need the knives. So memorize your clothes, share your goals, and get really good at the cookware, and you're going to have some really big orders going into it. The other thing is you have to get excited about the package deals, package deals. Whether that's knives in the cookware, knives and the hunting knives, cookware and flatware, cookware and gadgets, whatever it is, everything that you sell can be turned into a package. Uh, for me, when you're talking about these big numbers, $5,000 or $6,000, that's not very much money. I offer people $8,000 to $12,000 deals on visas every single day, and they don't even bat an eye. So if you're thinking that this is just way too much money, you have to get that mindset out and really just go big. This is the time whenever you need those big orders. This is when one order, one package deal can change your entire push. Get familiar with them, get comfortable with them, and expect to sell a package deal. So that was all about mastering your skills. The next thing I want to go over is prospecting. Prospecting, prospecting, prospecting. Who are you going to see in the last 48 hours of the push? You've already done the numbers and figured out you're going to need another 8 to 12 orders. So who are you going to call to see your best people? The first thing I want you to do is organize your callback list. So this is the list of people who you have already spoken with, and they told you to call them back at a later date, and they might be willing to see an appointment. This should be a long list. By the end of an SC2 push, I would have 60 people on my callback list just for I couldn't get a hold of them or figure out a time. So you want to make sure that this is organized. Hopefully you've been organizing these people throughout the push. You didn't just put like a C next to their name in the book. I write this on a separate piece of paper so that way it's always organized. This list is also going to include your reschedules. You want to follow up with those people and get those appointments rescheduled. Create urgency. You're going into the final days of your push. With this is the last chance that I have. I'm going back to school soon. Is there any way you can squeeze me in? I can come as early as 5 a.m., as late as midnight. Create that urgency and let them know that you're willing to do whatever it takes. Also on this list is I would include all of my no sales. These are people you want to call back. It's a little bit different approach. You can tell them about the Table Knife Club, the Super Shears special, anything like that, just to see if they may want to add a gadget or a knife here or there. But compile all these names into one list, and if you've been working hard throughout the push, this should be a very long list. After that, you want to organize your recommendations. These should all be in one place already, so this could be something that's already done, something that you should be doing on a daily basis. But once you have your callback list and your recommendations organized, I want you to rank your top 20 to 30%. So go through and rank your top 20 to 30%. If your list is less than 50 people, if your list is only 10 people, then that is your entire list. So you don't need to even rank them. You're just going to call through all of them. If you have over 50 people, rank your top 20 to 30%, and then those are the people that you want to focus on. If you are one of those people with a little less than 50 people on your list, then you need to brainstorm again. Reach back out to your parents. I know you talked to them at the beginning of the summer when you first started. Hey, Mom, who else do you know that may be willing to take a look? For me, this was always big. My parents saw how hard I was working, how much energy and time and effort I was putting into these push periods, that they'd always have a handful of people, and those were usually $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 order that I would have on the last day with the name that my parents came up with. So now that you have that list, you're going to just start calling through them. And it is the final days of the push. You probably called most of these people multiple times. What you're going to do now, the trick is to rotate phones. So you have this list of anywhere between 10 to 100 people, hopefully even more than that. You want to take this list and call them 3 to 4 times, your top 20 to 30%, over the next 48 hours. And again, I would not use your phone again, other than for those new referrals that you're going to continue to get today and tomorrow. But here you want to rotate phones and call these people as many times as you possibly can. Now the third is just go all in. There is no buy later. We talk about the buy now bonus. This is their only chance. If they're going to buy Cutco, they're doing it today. It is a little extreme, but I create that urgency with them. If anyone tries to tell me that I'll think about it, I don't know, this is a good time, today is the day. I don't let them do that. I tell them that I'm done going back to school. This is your last chance. And obviously if someone calls me in a week, I'll still write up an order for them, but I want to hit my goals, and I already got them tied into my goals at the beginning, that there's no way that I'm going to allow them to do that. You've also mastered your objections. Hey, husband's not here. Don't worry about it. We got the 15-day money back guarantee. I need you to try this out today. And then if he doesn't like it, no problem. We'll ship it back for him. So create that urgency, drop down if you have to, whatever it takes. In the final days of the push, don't get too high, don't get too low. You're never off pace, but I wanted to see who's going to make the necessary number of phone calls, because it is going to take a lot of phone calls, even now, even still going into the last days. Who's going to have their biggest order ever because they got excited about the package deals. They called their manager when they showed interest in the cookware, and they threw in a flatware. Who's going to get that Cutco kitchen and have their biggest day of their career. It's the last 48 hours. You can do anything for that long. You should be at the office making phone calls, setting up virtual appointments, putting orders online, whatever you can until you've arrived at SE2 to be able to hit your goal. Thank you guys. Best of luck. Back to work, knocking out visas here in Oklahoma, and have a good SE2. Bye.